Hey, what's going on guys? Mark back here in the workshop on Mark's Aquatics. Now then, hope you enjoyed that little video yesterday when we did the UV filter in the pond there, renewed that. I thought I'd film it for you because I know a lot of you guys are really into the aquatic sort of shrimp stuff and the fighting fish and all the other stuff I do. But I thought, you know, a few of you have got ponds, so it might be a little bit, you know, worth me while just doing it for you, just to show you how to set one up if you're unfamiliar with it, because it does help with you know, getting these things up and running. Crystal clear this morning, really looks nice, everything's working well, waterfall's working well, and the koi seem all nice and happy. Anyway, today what I'm going to do is we're going to set this little trap. Now if you're unfamiliar with these traps, I made some of these, I don't know, maybe about a month ago, could be a bit longer, and they're little shrimp traps. They got a nice little hinge lid on them, which I made and cut it all out just on the engraving. They got the little inlet tube there, which you put you slide that over, drop your bits of bait in, whatever you want to put in, a bit of shrimp pellet, anything really, bit of flake food, and then it sits on the bottom, and then they go in through that hole there, through the tube, they drop in, and then they try and come this way or around the top, and they swim around in circles trying to get out, and they can't work out how to get out, and you catch them. They work really well, sold quite a few. Thank you for you guys who went out of your way to support the channel and bought a few. That was really nice and really appreciate that. But I'm going to be making a few now. I've got this laser cutter now, so before I cut all these out by hand with the routers and everything else, it was a lot more work, to be honest, to do it. And I don't mind a bit of work, as you know that. But now I've got this laser cutter, I can really get these nice and neat now, get the holes done, do everything spot on, and right down to the finest mill. So I can get it done really well, and obviously put some nicer engravings on. I was just practicing here when I first got it, and I can do some funky little designs on there as well. So give me a shout, drop it in the comments below if you want me to make any more of these, if you'd be interested in buying one. But what we're going to do today, guys, is I'm going to set this in the bench tank, because what I want to do is catch some yellow Sakuras from the main bench tank, because I've got quite a few in there now that I've got berries on, and I've always found that when you build up a little colony in a small tank, you'll find they'll have a bloom and they'll go mad for a while. They'll build up numbers, but then it'll sort of, they flood themselves in there and they don't breed as much. So what I found, if you take some out, start a new colony off, you'll have that bloom again. So if you find out why your shrimp's slowing down, it's probably because you've come to a certain number in the tank and they need thinning out again. So either pick the best ones you've got, sell some off maybe, take them to your shop, sell them to your friends, give them away, but just thin out, keep your best ones and breed them and line breed them back in, and you'll do a lot better with your shrimp breeding, and you'll get some really nice ones out then. But what I want to do is I want to stock the paludarium here with some yellow Sakuras. Now, like I said, I've got lots of pregnant females in there. These do catch shrimp and fish, so no my luck, I'll either catch an otter sinkless that I've got in there, because they love the algae wafers that I put in there, the ones I made, and also the endlers. I might catch one of those in there as well, because they're very inquisitive little fish, so they like mooching around, and they'll smell it. The snails will be trying to get in there as well, no doubt. But that's the plan. So we're going to catch some yellow Sakuras. I'll reset you up on the bench, and then I'll stick a bit of hyper speed on like I normally do, fire a bit of music on so you can watch them all going in nice and quick, and then we can acclimate them and put them into this tank here. Okay guys, so check it out, stay tuned, and I'll see you in a minute. Well guys, there you go, we've got a right little result there, and like I said before, we've gone and caught a little otter sinkless catfish in there. He's on the algae wafer. I'll give you a little close-up of this guy. I do like these little guys, they really do. They're such little characters with their little beady eyes watching you. But he's on the algae wafers. We've got quite a few in here now as well. Got some younger ones, got some mid-sized ones, all the way down to, all the way up I should say, to the pregnant females. You can see a pregnant female there. You can see another one on the bottom there. I'll try and get a bit closer so you can see things. Yes, you can see there's quite a few with berries on in there, and it's the ones with the berries that are obviously they need to be feeding up to get those little babies to grow. So I always find they're the greediest, so they will go in there first. And like I say, most of them have. You know, it's a good result. We've got quite a few pregnant ones in there now. I might stock the paludarium up in my bedroom with some as well. You haven't seen that for a while. I might just nip upstairs and show you that one. I stocked that about a month ago. I didn't say anything to anyone on the channel, but I've actually stocked that with some little chili raspberries. I put 9 in there, and they're doing extremely well. Really happy in there. It needs a bit of a trim up as well, so I might do that as another video and show you that. But I think what we'll do is we're going to concentrate today. I think thinking forward now, it's going to be a little bit too much to do it all in one go. So I think what we'll do is we'll concentrate on getting these guys acclimated, releasing that little Otocinclus back into here. And if you see, because this tank's so narrow, I've tied catgut around it. You can see I've tied it around them each end, left and the right end, just so I can lift it up level as it is there. Because it's so narrow, I can't get in there very easily to get things out. So I'm just going to have to lift that to the top, and I can easily take it out that way. And then we can pour them into a nice bowl, my little glass bowl that I normally use, and we can acclimate these and put them into the paludarium, which is looking rather nice today. There's all kinds of different ones. What makes me laugh as well is the yellow Sakuras. They're so greedy, and I don't think they are as intelligent as the crystal reds or blacks, because you can see there's none of those in there. There's lots of them around all over the place. Look, little baby ones, they're all over the place. Got plenty of buried females in the crystal reds and the blacks, which is fabulous. So we're going to have a few more of those out in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks time. We'll see lots of little ones running around again, which will be great. But they don't seem to go in the trap like the yellow Sakuras do. They will do if I leave this overnight. In the morning I'll have a good load of them in there, but the yellow Sakuras just belt straight in there. As soon as I put it in, they were in there straight away. No trouble at all. All the plants are doing well, nice and healthy. I've still been using that Fluval. I've still been using the Fluval, the plant micro nutrients, which is really good. This is it here. I'll just show you there, guys. That's the one I've been using, enriched with iron, and it's really keeping these plants really healthy. So if you want to get hold of some of that stuff, the guys from Fluval were good as gold, and they sent me some of this, and to be honest with you, it really has picked up the all the plants. That little subwasatang tree that I've got there has doubled its size. Really has gone well. All the mosses are doing well. So a bit glary that way, sorry. But I also use the JBL Ferropol 24. Now I use this, I put a couple of drops in there. This is a daily fertilizer, but that's really good stuff as well. So I use that daily. Obviously you've got to follow the instructions on there for how many gallons you've got, but it's 1 drop I think per 40 litres or something along those lines. So it lasts for absolutely ages when you think 1 drop in there and there's 10 ml in there, so it's quite a lot. You can buy it in bigger boxes, bigger jars. You can buy it in bigger bottles as well if you've got a bigger tank. But that's how I've been keeping this stuff nice and green and healthy. Anyway, I think we've caught enough in there now, guys. So without further ado, let's go and get that bowl from my kitchen that I use. Then we can put them in there. Now one thing I will say to you guys as well, if you've got, obviously with me outside here and the temperature of the bowls, but so I always put a little bit of warm water in the bowl first, just to take the chill off the glass before I put them in, because if you've got your cupboards and then, you know, they're not warm or anything, you're putting this temperature water straight into that glass will take some of that temperature out quite quickly. So if you pre-warm that first with a bit of warm warmish water, just to get that glass warm before you put the warm water in. I found it keeps its temperature well then, and you can just put a little tea towel or something over the top and set it on one just to keep that heating, because with that heater in there, obviously over time when you're acclimating shrimp in slowly, your temperature is going to drop away as well. And with the drips that you put in, they're not going to keep it at that temperature with the drips going in so slowly as we do acclimating shrimp in using the drip system. So I think we'll go and get that. I'll do all that, and then I'll set you up on the bench, and we'll get these guys in. You can have a closer look at some of the pregnant girls then. Right guys, we've got them in the bowl. I've reset the trap because I'm going to catch a few more to put upstairs in my little paludarium in my bedroom. Like I said, I was going to do a bit earlier, but I'm not going to do that on today's video. So what we got now is a piece of airline. I've got a bit of micro airline there. Same old thing. Tie a little knot in it if you're unfamiliar with making drip lines. I've got a video all about acclimating shrimps, but basically you just tie a little knot like that, and that will regulate. You tighten it or release it depending on how many drips you want. I normally go around 2 drips per second. So what I'll do now is I'll pop that into the tank like so. Just turn that around there you go. Same old thing with siphoning, little suck first, don't get it in your mouth. You can watch it come down the pipe, tie the knot first. And as you can see there, we've got quite a few drips coming out, but then you just tighten that up slowly. And there you go. You put that a little bit closer to the water. And that's working perfectly, that is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these slowly drip. I've only just set you up here just to show you. It's a bit more, it's an easier way of showing you how to do it. But basically they've come out of that tank, so I'm not acclimating them there, but I'm just showing you how to acclimate them, because I'm going to do the same over on the paludarium, which is over there. But obviously I'm going to put the drip in there, and then on the towel then I'll put the bowl of shrimp, and then we'll acclimate them to the paludarium water. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'll set you up and then we'll do that now. It was just a little bit easier showing you with this tank than this other one, because I can't get it all in the frame. Right guys, there you go. We're all set up now. As you can see now, we got our little pipe coming from the paludarium all the way down there. All you hardened shrimp keepers that have been following me for ages all know this little trick, but any new guys that have just hopped on board and are new to shrimp keeping, this is how you acclimate shrimp. You've got to do it nice and carefully, nice and slowly, because shrimp get shocked by water changes quite easily and they can die quite quickly. So as always, rule number 1, make sure you've got a really well cycled tank. When you're keeping shrimp, ammonia's lethal for them. You'll kill them so quickly. I hear a lot of people say that, oh, I put shrimp in with my fish and they're dead and everything's perfect and this, that and the other. When you're keeping fish, they're producing a lot more waste, and you really do need if you've got a big planted tank, the plants will utilize the nitrates and all the ammonias and all these different things, but you really do need a really good cycle tank to be successful with shrimp. I mean, in the bench tank here, I've only got a few little endlers kicking around in there, and that's it. And it's 6 foot long, the tank. Jack's back in with his girlfriend. I don't know if you saw him just dart out then. Giving his girlfriend a bit of a hard time. Trying to get another little clutch of babies from those. He's built in his nest. They've just caught in again. There's plenty of cover in there for her, so she'll hide away from him and get away from him, so she's not going to get too bullied. And then hopefully within the next day or so, here he comes making some more bubbles. We'll get another good hatch rate. Don't know what happened with that. We've got a few left. I'm bringing a few on, but I want just a few more, just so we can have a nice little selection out of the ones that I want to keep. Anyway, getting back to the shrimp, they're dripping away. I'm going to probably acclimate these for a good hour. They're used to tank conditions, tank parameters. They're not wild caught, and I find wild caught ones that you buy in the shops that haven't come in. Always ask where you get your shrimps, or where your breeders or your shops get their shrimp from, if they're imported or they're tank raised, because tank raised ones will obviously settle in a lot quicker than wild caught ones will. So that's always a good thing to ask when you're buying shrimp. That's dripping away nicely now at about 2 drips or a drip per second. I can speed that up. I've got it on a towel to keep that temperature in underneath. I will partially cover it with another tea towel to keep that heat from evaporating, and I warm the bowl up like I said before, just to give them a little bit more time. So when they're ready, I'll come back, we'll introduce these guys into the tank, and I'll do a little bit of close-up footage on them and see how they're settling in. Okay, right guys, they have all been acclimated. There we are. Got some lovely little females in there, little males, good mixture. So they're really going to have a good head start in this tank. Lots and lots of vegetation in here for them to eat and have a little pick on. Biofilm must be nuts in there. No shrimp in there at the moment. Jack's he's looking at them. Hello mate. Come on, start building some bubbles. He had a lovely bubble nest in there earlier, but they all popped for some reason. Even a little change in temperature can make those bubbles pop, so get making bubbles, boy. Anyway, these are all right. We're going to put these in now. So I'll lift these up carefully. And I can just get that left of the bowl I'll just get that bowl under the water there. Little pygmy corries going nuts. There they come. Let them swim out in their own time and they'll get straight to work. They look lovely in there against that green. Come on little guys. Just slowly release that bowl and they'll just slide their way in nicely without minimal disturbance. Look at that. Got a couple of those little baby endlers. When I took the main, do you remember the guppies that I put in there? I put them in the shrimp room in one of the other tanks because I wanted to bring a few more shrimp on in here, and they dropped a couple of babies. You can see the little babies there whizzing around. The little pygmy corrie there. You can see some of the girls with their berries. One at the back there, one in the front. So we've got a really good start now. Another one around here somewhere. We've got a big heap of snails there having a chat. We've got a really good head start now. We've got some lovely buried up females in there, another one there. So that's fantastic. Got a little bit of hair algae in there. So that Rickia needs a trim back, so I'll trim that off with it as well. Still using that fluval in this as well, the fluval micro nutrients, which I showed you before. That stuff over there, grab some of that. I find it works absolutely fantastic. Really does work well. I'll stick a link to that in the description below, guys, if you want to buy any of that. Where to get it from? See another little pygmy corrie in the background. Oh, a little ember tetra there popped into the shop. And the guppies as well. Everyone's gone mad. Everyone's looking lovely and healthy. Paludarium's working great. Little waterfall's working lovely. Look at that. And that moss is still doing really well. That's garden moss you're looking at there. Really happy the way this has turned out. And that Rickia is absolutely gone nuts. Look at that. It's plating out with some lovely shapes. I'm not going to put any food in there for them because I know there's absolutely tons of biofilm in this tank because they've not been in here before, any shrimp, so it's going to be covering covering everything. They're going to be spinning around with these little rocks and turning everything around. All the baby's tears there, looking lovely and green. Little pygmy cory just shot to the surface for his little gulper there, which is what they do naturally. Magic stuff. Anyway guys, if you like these little videos and you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for up and coming videos, okay? And then you won't miss any. And I think we're going to stop this one here. We've mission accomplished. I think we'll have a look at the paludarium upstairs on the next video, maybe on Wednesday. We'll give that one a little trim up and I'll show you how that's come along. And until then guys, you're all stars. Love you loads, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next edition of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.